All right. Did it just get stuck? Hey, fella. Oh god, I wrapped it. There we go. Just gotta get signed in to my account authentication. There we go. It's not a bad view. Just make this a little more stable. Oop. There we go. All right. Hey, Goose, Tyler, welcome to the live stream. I am having a little bit of, I should probably press play. A little bit of technical difficulty seeing. Hey, Mark. All right, so I can't see myself. But I think that's a pretty good view. Just turning down all of my settings. All right, here we go. Hey, Chris. One thing, where's the sound? Sound works over here. Yeah, I have sound on my other devices, but so we should be good. Whoa, Chris! This is my Mark. Chris, this is my live stream. I should be the center of attention here. I'm just kidding. I'm Dave88. I'm new to HO. Is it buffering for anybody, or everything's okay? Like, I know the quality might not be great, but just trying to get everything evened out. Seems to be working for me, but obviously my connection may be super biased. Hey, James, thanks for showing up. All right, well, we have a train going around, and yeah, the basic agenda for tonight. I don't know exactly how long it is, but I want to get this all kind of laying. I might actually have the train stop just because I'm going to be reaching over here. And I just don't want to knock it off while it's going by. But I'll let it run for maybe another lap or two. And then call it a day. I did buy some more rolling stock. I got a couple things, but I need to change the couplers on pretty much everything because the Walthers train lines, I have two Walthers train lines, and the couplers are they're okay, but unfortunately the height seems a little crazy, and the two Atlas, I've got an Atlas train line, and then the Atlas. The Atlas. Oh, I guess they're just ready to run, and the train man, and they come with that terrible coupler I absolutely despise that spreads in the middle, and I can't stand it. Oh, James watching 2 live streams at once. We'll let it go for one more lap. It's just coming back up, and then we'll park it. We can even park it up here. Yeah, I didn't think I was intruding on anybody else's live stream. I tried to kind of do my own time, That way I wouldn't be... Oh, okay, Cars. Ooh, maybe I should check him out. Hot Rod Rodney. It's a good name. All right, we'll just let this come up and... Yeah, Goose, that's exactly right. Like, I'm really... This is the ready to run car that I got from Atlas, and it's just a 40-foot box car. But one of the wheels is binding. Maybe. Oh yeah, I don't. Sam probably won't pick that up, but it doesn't spin as freely, and then these ridiculous couplers that split in the middle just drive me absolutely crazy. And then the other one, the Train Man, which is this yellow CP insulated box car, it's the same, but it seems to run good. The couplers I'll still change, but I do have some KDs ready to switch out, number 158s. So I'll be doing that on both the Walthers train line, pretty much on everything. I like the Walthers mainline stuff. It runs great, but I will definitely have to switch some stuff, just because when I was setting up a train, it just was a little too inconsistent. So I'm just going to stop that up here once it clears the switch. There we go. One strange thing with the Keep Alives is I have to remember once to stop the train instead of just shutting off the layout, because the Keep Alives just continue whatever the last command is for however many seconds. So if you just shut the layout off, they'll continue running forward for 15 seconds. So I always have to make sure I stop them first. Anyways, let's go ahead and let's get started. Hopefully the lighting's okay. If not, I can always bring a lamp over. But I think with the LEDs, it shouldn't be too bad. I've already kind of laid out the switches for the most part, and I've got most of my tools, and I say that, and I am clearly missing my hobby knife, which I had, because I put everything out, because I try to be somewhat prepared, but clearly I'm not. Aha. Nope. Where the heck did that go? All right, well. Oh, there we go. All right, so The basic design is it's going to come here. We've got a double slip, and then towards the camera is going to be a small industry going into the corner. We're going to have a small runaround track here for setting up trains and departures and drop-offs. Small stub track down at the end of that. Then we have 2 spurs, which are just going to be stub tracks. We're going to have this last part as a stub track as kind of a lead. And then it's going to come back. We're going to have my engine facility, which is just a 1-bay engine shed. I'm going to probably have a fueling and a sanding station, and then like a repair in place for locomotives and freight cars. So I got this cork down. I ended up getting it at Michael's because I could not for the life of me track it down. Chris was like, oh, it's at Walmart. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And so, you go to Walmart and it's not there. So with these double slips, and I mean Pico in general, what they do is the last tie doesn't have the spike so that you can put rail joiners on. But with these double slips, the gap isn't big enough for insulated rail joiners. So I actually had to cut off 1 tie at each end just to make it look consistent. And I'm kind of, we'll give it a shot. I might have to cut off the second tie here, but if we just, should be fine. No, that's great. That's great. We'll just make sure that's pretty straight. Looks good. And so what I typically do is I'll get all the switches in place because obviously they're all straight rails and they're gonna connect up really nicely. And then that's when I lay my flex track and I kind of mark and I cut them to length. And I do have insulated rail joiners going into the yard on both sides because eventually I will have the circuit breakers. I did the industry area the same, and just that way I can I'm gonna have a switch. Now in this case I'm likely going to add some more insulating rail joiners for the tracks over here because one of them is going to be my programming track, one of them is going to be an engine stall, and just that way when I start up the layout I don't have all of my locomotives starting up at once. Not that I have the power for it, but it's just more of a sound preference for myself. So I've got some of that, and we should be good. I'll worry about that when I get there. So let's get this connected. I haven't had a ton of time to work on the layout. Work's been nuts. And it's just kind of been a quality of life. See, with these, you're right. I could have done that. I do save all of my ties. I mean, all of them, to put back at one point. Like I've big pile right beside the camera actually, but it's done. So I guess I'll live with that. Good tip though. Oh, there. Much better. Okay. So I just use Atlas's rail joiners. They definitely changed something, at least from the new packs they sell, because they not only come apart much easier. I think they made a thinner material in between the rail joiners themselves because they come in the line of 4, but I found them to be much better, and I think there's a shorter area between the rail joiners themselves because I got and I think this still applies with the Atlas Snap switches, but I bought the Atlas Crossing for the industry area, and it came with rail joiners, and they were just like I remembered them. They were terrible. You had to snip them. You had to bend them about 20 times to get them to break off, and then snip them, or else you'd leave this giant like ridge that would either dig into your benchwork or cork or foam and push the rail up, or make it hard to get the rail on. Um, but the ones that come in the pack are incredible, and I lucked out because I bought 2 packs when I first started, and I just bought a third pack from the Hobby Center in Ottawa, and I'm hoping the third pack is like the other 2 packs I got from OVR. So we'll find out in just a little while. There we go. And I like using new rail joiners. I used to always use old ones, but I try to mess with it as least as possible, because if you're here and you get your rail joiner and you're bending the track, or you're moving it around, obviously that enlarges the rail joiner itself and makes it a little more floppy, and it just doesn't make as good of a connection, both physically, like electrically, and physically for holding the rails in place. So I always try to kind of do a one place take, and if I have to do any modifications, I will take it right off, just to save myself some trouble in the future. I mean, if they expand a little bit, or they're floppy as I called it, perfectly usable, especially if you're going to solder. But right now I'm not soldering any of my turnouts. So right here is going to be an interesting area. This switch here, I plan the entire layout with the modules in mind, and this is the only switch that's on a line, which is why I don't glue any of my switches down currently, except for the ones that the tortoises use. So I think what I'm going to do is I cut back the ties on my FlexTrack so that I can just move the rail joiners forward and lift the switches straight up. I may do that with this one switch before I glue it down, or before I kind of glue down the rails and everything. I'll get everything set and where I want it, and then I'll figure it out. I'll also, I'm probably going to cut a small piece of FlexTrack just so that this switch isn't on the oh my god, the brake. Oh, my brain's so fried. So I'll have to do that as well, which will be okay. Oh my god, you're right. I totally need bacon. I actually have some. I left it upstairs. I'll be right back. I'll go get some right now. How could I forget? Jeez, that's terrible. How could I? Can you guys smell it? Mmm. I made homemade poutine earlier. Of course, I cooked bacon for it. And I was like, good, now I can save some. So I've got this little piece of FlexTrack. I'm going to go ahead and cut it. So, oh, my tablet timed out, so I lost chat. And now I can't remember my password, apparently. There we go. I'm back. All right. So what I typically do I got in the habit of this is it's the best view. The bacon view is the best view. I think we can all agree. The bacon is way better than the layout could ever be. Hands down. All right. So back when I had my old snips, they were terrible. And James, you said that last time. Eggs just slow me down. Back when I had my old snips, they were pretty rough, and so they didn't make a clean cut. By the way, it's maple flavored, just to solidify the Canadian in me. So good. And this is a really great example. Actually, this isn't a great example just because I probably used not the straight side, but these are pretty mangled. But what I'm going to do, and what I always do, even with my new snips, is I take a flat file and I file the ends of both the rails, and then I file the bottom and the top just lightly to make sure there's no burrs, because especially on the bottom, well, I mean the top too, but especially on the bottom, you can't get a rail joiner on if there's any burrs. And then I take a round file and I bring it in on the side. So let's go ahead. Let me cut the ties back by one. And actually, because this is on a joint, I'm going to cut them back quite a bit so that I can slide the entire rail joiner on. So that'll be 2. That bacon better not be too distracting for you guys. And by the way, this is like medium crispiness bacon. See, I complain that it better not be distracting you guys, and I'm so distracted. It's like, it's crunchy, but it's not like uber crispy. It's just like, it's just brown is how I love my bacon. That way it's still kind of juicy. Oh man, if I keep this up, if I live stream once a month even, I keep eating half a pack of bacon, I'm going to have a heart attack. And it's going to be your guys' fault because I'm doing it for everybody's entertainment. That's a lie. I'm eating the bacon for myself. So, I cut back the ties. And all I'm going to do now is I'm just taking the flat file. And I'm not left-handed, so this is kind of tough. And this just gives me, it doesn't have to be perfect, but that's not bad. Okay. But see, even now I have I have burrs at the bottom. And so that's going to make it really tough for me. James, eventually when this is 100% complete and I'm done everything and wiring and everything's to my liking, I'll likely solder all of my joints right before I ballast. But right now, as things are still being worked on and moved around, I like to leave at least my switches unsoldered, or anything over a joint. So this way, it's really easy. Hey, that'd be a heck of a romantic comedy. So I'm just going to, again, take the flat side of this file, and I'm just going to get rid of the burrs. And you can kind of do it at an angle a little bit, but that's it. And then I'm going to do that. The top feels, there's a little bit there. So I don't like doing the top too much, because then you just, the more you file is the bump, there's more of a bump. But actually that seems pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is a completely round, like a cylinder file, and I'm just going to kind of put it at an angle and pull it like that, not over the bacon. And I'm going to do that on both sides. And that just, again, it kind of helps. You can go back and forth like that if you'd like. It just helps the rail mate. Oh, trains by Perry. Where are you at? Where are you at? I'm near you? I didn't know that. I'm kind of somewhat of a recluse. I got associated with Chris way back in the day, and I tell you, that was the sketchiest shit. Sorry, that was the sketchiest stuff. Oh my gosh, I remember meeting Chris because I remember seeing him on YouTube, and I think maybe I messaged him. He mentioned he was in like Almont at the time. I think I messaged him, and he was like, "Yeah, let's get together." And I was like, "Oh no way! Okay, yeah, you're real close." So like way back, I messaged him, and we're like, yeah, let's hang out, because he had that little loop with all the Atlas snap switches, and I add him on Facebook, and we agree to meet, and I'm like, oh, these are the old ones. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, that's such a shame. They still work, but like, okay, here's an unbent one. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's not coming. Oh, there. That was 16. And see, like, there's this big, you won't be able to see it. It's curled now. It's curled and pointing up. I don't think you'll see it at all. And, anyways, and so I take just my rail snips, and again, I'm going to have to protect the bacon, but I just cut that off. I cut as close as I can. Darn. I was hoping that that wouldn't be the case. Whereas, just comparing it to this new strip, okay, which is 1, 2, 3. Is this a new strip? This feels like an old strip. Oh, this is another old strip. Oh, that's why. I used all the new strip, hence me opening this box. Rats. Anyways, I got distracted. On both accounts. I was telling the story about Chris. So, I add him on Facebook, and he has all these tattoos, and I'm like, oh man, this guy's thug life for sure, Like, oh my god, what am I doing? And I'm okay, I'm like, you know what? Who cares? Like, he's into trains. He seems like a really soft-spoken dude. And he is. And so I meet him, and he's just like this awesome, chill, like super friendly guy. And we hit it off right off the bat. And we've been buds ever since. But it's just so funny. Now, I think what I'm going to do... Yeah. So what I like to do is I'll just use a switch to butt up the ends, because this is different lengths because I've cut this. So I'm just going to keep this connected. You guys can't see down here, can you? Oh, a little bit. It's just easier for me to work. And I'm just going to cut at the end of this tie. And make sure that's still straight. Cool. There we go. So now it's straight, and I can take that off. And see, I just did something I said I wasn't gonna. Just flop it around, making the rail joiners. No, I said you're soft-spoken, Chris. You're just like, I don't think I've ever heard you like mad. Like you've never like really like raised your voice, or like I get really amped, right? Like I get really excited. So my voice pitch heightens, and I get excited. I talk fast. I talk a lot with my hands, and Chris is just so chill all the time. Oh, is that right, James? What locomotives are you getting with the CN scheme? Actually, because this one, of course, it's flex track, one rail, so I'm going to actually use that to my advantage just to And I mean, I'm doing this right on the cork. I come back and I vacuum everything after. You'll just have to take my word for it. I do actually. It's like I keep the layout cleaner than I keep my house. Ooh, Kato, what is it though? Like, what locomotive is it? Like a GP or an SD or like what? Because it's a pair. So what are you getting? Yeah. Yeah, I know HOs. Oh, okay. Ooh, nice. F3s. Is that the green? That would be the green scheme, the green and yellow, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so those are ready. Man, I'm kind of bummed that these are the old style rail draw. I can't stand these. Ah. See, I've always wanted to join a club, and I mean, we almost started a club, but well, I was having quite a bit of health issues at that time, but I have a lot of social anxiety. Oh, okay. Yeah, do a video on them, and I'll check them out for sure. So, crowds kind of freak me out sometimes, um, especially because my I think it all depends on my confidence, and I constantly am not confident in my train skills. Like, I don't know a lot about actual trains, if I'm honest, right? Like, I don't know. Oh, that's tight. Yeah, yeah. And I just I'm not confident in my knowledge. So it's different like at work because I'm confident in my wow, these are really there must be a burr. Yeah. Hmm. Why won't you go on? Goes on just fine like that. Alright. Let's see, but now it's all floppy and I don't like that. Alright, but that's okay. Oh, the tie. The ties are hitting here. So I'm going to just take this, and I'm just going to cut off the end of that tie. I don't really want to cut the spike off if I can help it. Whatever. There, I left the other spike on. Let's just see how that fits. Oh, much better. Much better. All right. There we have almost like a double ladder coming up. Oh, that's nice. That's looking pretty good. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? It's not perfect in real life. I don't think anybody really has it perfect. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. So, now, let's start getting some flex track down. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's looking good. I really love these double slips. It's such a great way to utilize the same area. Like these are SL, which are these? 96, 90. So all the switches on my layout are Pico SL 95 or 96s. I think, right? Yeah. Except for the one curve turnout, which is the Pico ST245. And then the two double slips. But this double slip is the same radius as all my switches, so that's why I can kind of get away with using one of these and it's still lining up. But yeah, that's true in real life. They are kind of everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, they are. I buy all insulated frogs as well. Obviously, Electro Frog. I mean, I don't see the big appeal to that because unless you're running like extremely small locomotives, like those little, like a even an 040 or the little trackmobiles, stuff like that is you know, because the thing is, and before, like, I'm gonna lay all of this and then I'm gonna take all of these switches up and I'm gonna do that trick, and I made a video on it that I connect, because with the insulated, take this off, with the insulation, right, the insulated frog, you have these wires here at the back, and that basically allows power to jump from this left rail to this left rail, and from this right rail to this right rail, right? But if you only have a power source on one of these directions, right, you're relying on these point rails to transfer electricity, and even with these Pico springs, you don't have enough pressure to hold that all the way for reliable power. So, and I made a video on that. There's already these cuts. I just solder a wire across those two rails and those two rails. And basically that means as long as I've got one source of power, it's completely powered all the time. And of course there's no shorts because these are still both left rails and these are still both right rails, right? Regardless of diverging or straight. So you don't ever, you don't have to worry about, am I going to short out if something goes through? But this way, especially with, like here where I've got the rail, or right here, here's a great example. I've got insulating rail joiners off this side. So even though I'm going to have power here, right, I'm still counting on this wimpy guard rail or point rail to provide power. And yes, it's only, this much, but for some locomotives, that's all it takes to stall. Now, I've got the keep alives, so little things like that aren't going to matter. But not everybody has keep alives. So I'm going to do it to every single switch, and I've already done it to every single switch on my main line. And I'm going to do it to all the switches in the yard. Now, in the industry, I'm not doing that because I have feeders at every point, like on every track. Yes, I use DCC. Why not buy Electrofrog? Because then I need a frog juicer or a tortoise machine to change the polarity. And in this case, I'm just going to keep using the stock Pico springs. So for me to simply solder a wire in between these two sets of rails takes me a minute, and I still never have to worry about shorts. But if that frog juicer isn't set up right, or the tortoise throws funny, or something goes, and the biggest cause is something coming against a set rail, because if you're set to diverging, the frog is then, say, right rail, and then you're coming down against it by accident even, and you touch the frog, suddenly you short out. So, um, oh, that's good. That's nice. I still, like I said, for what I'm doing, I've never really, I think if maybe I was in a club setting or a larger layout where I had maybe some more diversity in what I was running, but or obviously like a lot of people make those fast track jigs. That's obviously the way to go to. Uh, I'd love to try that one time. That's always something I've really wanted to do. Hmm. I never had my problem with the Shinohara's back when I had my old layout. I had, I think, what, two of them I got used, but they work just fine. I mean, I do that trick on everything. Like I did it on all my Atlas ones, the Walthers or Shinohara switches I did. So I mean, it's just a trick I do. It just saves me problems. But anyway, I think it seems to work great. Like I said, I've done it so far and I've had zero issues. So I'm just gonna keep doing it. Mark, maybe when I see you in person, I'll explain it to you. Once you get the hang of it, it's definitely easy. But a lot of the wiring, like a lot of the terms in the wiring for DCC that people use, make it a lot like way overcomplicated. Yeah, Chris. James, well, I mean, it's always good to be open. I mean, keep something in mind if you're comfortable with it or it's gonna work or it's what you've seen, but just be open to what some changes because if something ends up being a better fit, then maybe you want to explore that. Let's get some flex track going. All right, so we're gonna make a cut. We're going to do this section here, and we're going to have to be mindful of these ties. And cut there and here, and you know what? We can utilize that whole thing. That's perfect. That is perfect. So what I'm probably going to do is cut back. I'm going to cut back the ties here anyway um, for the switch, and then lay the flex track in. We'll mark it and get to some snipping. I think my biggest thing about the insulated versus Electrofrog 2 is I think they cost about the same. I could be wrong. I haven't looked into Electrofrog in a while. But then you need some way of powering it, like a frog juicer. And Sparky, if you're still here, how much? Because I know you've got some frog juicers on your layout. How much does one frog juicer cost per? Because you have this. I think you're using the snails, right? Are they like they're just like the tortoises where you could use that to power your frog, but instead you use a frog juicer, I think, right? Okay, so the big thing about double slips is the throw is on the opposite side. So you're used to just having one throw, which acts as the here. Actually, let's. This is okay. This is kind of gonna work. So think of it as just two switches overlapped. Okay, like that, and basically, if I do like this, okay, this side is going to determine the opposite diverging or straight, and this side is going to do the opposite. So when you look at double slip, I'm gonna pick up the camera and take it off the charger. Woo, shaky camera. So looking at mine, this side controls these routes, and this side controls these routes. And it's funny because when you first look at them, your eyes automatically go to these rails attached and they move. So you think, oh, it's controlling that, but it's not. What it's actually doing is if you follow the rail, so if we look at this outside rail and we follow it, the flange is going to go inside and it's going to come up. It's going to go through and you're going to be okay. But if I flip like that, the flange is going to wedge right in here. So if I do that, man, that would have been hilarious if that didn't work, huh? So right now we're going kind of left to left, or well, not left to left, but you know, and I'm going to flip this side and we're going to go straight through like that. Okay. If I flip this side, we're going to go up like that. Okay, that was the other switch. That was, I swear, see? The other switch wasn't set. That wasn't the double slip's fault. That wasn't the double slip's fault. And now I can't get the... But yeah, so... And then if we come back here and we want to go straight, flip that down. That controls this side, as I mentioned. And now we're going to go straight through again. And that's it. So it's hard to get your mind around at first, but then once you start looking at it like basically two switches overlapped like I showed, you get used to it, and it's just a matter of, you know, up is it's inverted too. So down, by having it closer like towards me, it's actually going up, and further away is going down. But that's the exact same as a switch, right? With this guy, further away actually brings it closer, and if the point rail is closer, it brings it further away. So, you know, it's it's one of those you'll get used to it maybe when you have it, or you know, stuff like that. The double crossovers are cool too. Yeah, it's clear as mud, right? It's clear clear as mud. But you know, it's just one of those things that you really it honestly, it helps to see it in person as well, and just to experiment, because then you actually get used to it, and you're using it. I'll bring you over here one of these times, Mark, and you can just run this layout, and I'll just watch you crash all of the trains. Run against, because I've got the Pico Springs, and they're not forgiving, so I'll just watch you run against every switch on my layout, and like short the thing out, and jump the frogs and all that, and we'll call it a day. It'll be fine. Dundas. I mean, okay, if that's what you want. So in this case, guys, I'm going to use some old rail joiners that are already kind of floppy, like I mentioned earlier. Actually, this one's, I must have, oh yeah, I used pliers on this one, so it's a little tight. Because I'm just going to slip this in here. And I'm going to just, there we go. And we're just going to lay it right on top. I'm just going to make sure. I think I got bacon in my eye. Oh yeah, that looks good. That looks really good. So there's like a right way to do this, and then there's like the way I do it. You know, if I was making an official how-to video, this is not the way I would show you how to do it, but I'm not doing that, and I just want to lay some tracks. So in the perfect world, you take a nice marker, you know, you'd mark it, you'd take it off, Mark, you just got to stand your ground, man. So with this, you want to get it pretty much as close as possible. We can file it down after the fact, but really, I'm just going to do as I say, not as I do, right? We're just going to hold the rail. And we're just going to do that. Make sure nothing really shifted. Cool. And if the tie would get out of the way, it fits right in. Fits right in. We'll make sure there's no cattywampusy. Ah, looks great. Looks good. And we're gonna take it back out. And we're gonna cut the ties. And I'm gonna cut 2 ties so that I can put the rail joiner all the way in if I need to. There's already a burr, so I can't get the ties off. Ugh. File time. Actually, these new rail snips, man, I don't even really need to file. That was pretty clean. That was already so clean. I didn't even have to. Like, the top's perfect, the bottom was fine too, and it already did a great job. I really don't have to. I mean, I still do, just because again, I've done this entire layout up until I got the new snips, and oh, that end scale plaque got me. You can't see. There's like a screw. Screw sticking out. It got me. But I've done this, the entirety of this layout. So, and it's worked. It works great. I can run a train for hours unattended, and it doesn't derail or jump the track or anything. So I'm just gonna kind of keep going because it's been working. All right, more rail joiners. So this is where it helps putting the track in, because if I would have left the ties in, I would have had to take, it's hard because the main line's glued down, so it would make it really difficult to put this piece of track in. But because I cut the ties out, I can push these rail joiners in all the way. Ouch. Okay, that one didn't really go in that well. There we go. And then you simply just place the track, and then you can just use your fingers a lot of the time. I've got big fat fingers and can't do it. So you use a pair of nice little needle nose pliers, and you stop struggling on camera. There we go. And now let's see. So in this case, I'm gonna have to cut another side of the tie off. Let's pick the camera up again, because it's interrupting my throw bar. So that is the third one in. So let's go ahead. We'll take that off again. And I'm gonna cut the third one in off. And again, because the rail joiners are just slipped on, it's really easy to take off and do all the shenanigans needed. And yeah, all right, let's try that again. In this case, you can slip them on one side, but with the other one, perfect, great. Okay, that works good. Actually, you know what? It doesn't. The time. Which one's that hitting? Is that hitting the first one? Oh, no, I'm good. All right, struggle bus time. Because I'm on camera. Oh my god, these new reel joiners I'm not happy with. Struggle bus. Oh my god, okay. So, you know what? These are the big ones anyway. We're just gonna take it off. We're gonna cut a new one. And then we're gonna throw it on the floor. Okay. Take two. Ah, see, that one just slipped on with my fingers. And that's it. Throw bar works. Not interrupted. Everything looks good. Everything is tight. How's that look from down here? Oh, it looks sick. Nice. 30 auto racks? Whoa! What do you usually pull those with? We're gonna actually dispose of that rail joiner now so I don't reuse it, even out of desperation. I'm gonna take the bacon away. I am full. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the clean end of the flex track we just cut, and I'm gonna do. I always, it's kind of like cutting wood. You always use the clean edge to start from. Where are these guys? If you do get these reel joiners and you do break off the little nubs, don't just throw them on your floor, because you're going to step on them and they're going to go right into your big toe, and that's going to be a bad day. Ooh, SD70. Ooh, ES44s. Listen, Mark, all I'm saying here is I've been polite on camera with the bacon usually, and this is 100% pun intended. There's pig noises and all sorts of things. You'd think something's getting, just slaughtered, but it's just me eating. And so I just don't want to scare you guys. Okay, all right. 2 people complained? Fine. All right. It is so good, but I'm so full. Where'd my water bottle go? Oh, so Halloween. Don't even get me started, okay? Stories coming. By the way, guys, I love to talk. You've only seen me in, like, controlled videos. I could talk all night. So my bad. We're going to wrap this up soon. But, so I grew up just across the gully from where I live now. About 2 streets over. Oh man, this is so much harder than it looks. Or I'm just really bad. Jesus, that's why I had to get out of N skill. My hands are just so shaky. So, grew up 2 streets over, across the gully, and we used to get, and like I used to go out trick-or-treating, and there used to be like massive amounts of kids, okay? Massive. I mean, hundreds. And I'm not exaggerating. Because we were just off a street that went like, it was one of those really long streets. And Halloween, the strat is you go to one street in a good neighborhood and you go down one side and then you come back up the upside. You don't want to be going around corners and doing blocks. That just slows you down, right? So we move into this house, and we moved in April. So October comes around, and I'm excited. I'm an adult now, and me and my wife get costumes, and we're all excited, and we buy enough candy to feed. I think it was initially 200 kids, and that was like they were the mini candies, but that was enough to feed 200 kids. It was three bars, so you get the mini Kit Kats, the mini Arrows, the Smarties. And I remember the day because she's coming home from work, and I call her, and I'm like, Danielle, and that's her name. It's my wife's name, Danielle. It's like, you got to get more candy. I talked to my dad, who lives on a busy street. He got like, we used to get like 300 kids. So I was like, get enough candy, because worst case, we'll just like eat the leftovers, right? I am not joking. I'm not exaggerating. Nothing. The first year, we got four kids. 4 kids. I was taking that Halloween, and I'm not complaining. I was taking that Halloween candy to work for lunch for weeks. All right, so I just sliced off that. I'm going to bring you guys with me over here. Different view. 2 of my new rolling stock, both of which have different heights than my other couplers, it seems, because they decouple on my inclines. All right, see you, James. Thanks for showing up. We're going to wrap up here shortly anyway. So we'll see. That's looking pretty good. All right. This is what we're going to do. Here's the plan. We're going to wrap this up. I'm going to finish the bacon first, and then we're going to wrap this up. Oh. If I have a heart attack, Mark, you're bringing me a large pizza for lunch every day in the hospital, because I work at a hospital, and I have not tested the patient food, but it doesn't look good. I've been to other hospitals, and it doesn't look good there either. So you're providing the pizza, or the Baconators, maybe? I don't know. You're sneaking it in. All right. Look, there's 2 pieces here, and here's the strategy, guys. Here's the strat. All right. Look, 2 pieces, but if you stick them together, it kind of looks like 1 piece, and if you eat it like this, your body only thinks it's 1 piece. So it's like half the calories. Right? That's how it works, huh? All right, see you. All right. All right. That's it. I'm done. Thank you, guys. I totally, I didn't know what to expect. I did not get as much done as I wanted. But that's okay. I had a great time chatting with you guys. Golden Spike. What's the Golden Spike? I can't run a train. Well, I technically probably could because of the Keep Alives, but they're insulated, and this isn't wired yet, so I'm not going to be able to run a train in here. I could back some cars in, I suppose. The last spike. I mean, I have no idea. I don't know what you mean. It's not done. I could do a video on the last spike, the last track piece I lay. I could do a video on that. Because that's it. Once it's just this spur, couple tracks here, and then I'm gonna make the running trains. Oh, who made that? All right. Hold on. You guys are just bullies. No, I'm just joking. Let me get a train going real quick. You can probably hear it. All right, I'll leave the sound on this time. We'll do a lap. We'll do a lap. Watch. I've been like bragging how like it's been like my track work was flawless. And you know what? Let's try it with the keep alive. I don't know if we've had time to charge yet, but I want to see. I want to see if it works. I should have gained some speed. Oh well. Here we go. Lost sound, but it's still going. I didn't charge them very long. Rats. Rats. Okay, well. There we go. Hi, Laura. Wow, so you married Mark. Did you, and I'm sure he's told you the story, that when I first saw him and saw his videos, I thought he was 16 years old. And his brother was 16. I thought they were like living at home, mom and dad, lay out in the basement kind of deal. Definitely thought, and then I met him, and we discussed how he was not 16 years old. Blew my mind. Blew my mind, Laura. I like Chris can attest. Chris can attest that my mind, like, it took me like an hour to be like, no, really? It was, yeah, every time. That's like, and then of all things, he's like a high school teacher, you know? Oh, Chris, you did so. It was that and realizing Vinny's layout was end scale, and I had no idea. That also blew my mind. Alright. There we go. So I mean, at least you know, I was picking up the right vibes, right? I was picking up the right vibes. Well, that's just some of my stuff. I should have put everything. Next time I'll have everything running. Alright, see you, Chris. It's true. It's true. That's what Danielle says. She's like, "Are you gonna go play trains with Chris?" Like, me and Chris went to the store, and I was going to do the live show the other night too, and then I had to bail because of work last week. And she's like, "Oh, you're not going to play trains with Chris?" And I'm like, "I'm not playing trains. They're scale models, Danielle. They cost hundreds of dollars." But yeah, it is fun playing trains. Not gonna lie. I don't want to admit you're right on my live stream, Laura, so I'm just not going to comment on it anymore. All right, I'm going to shut her down. It is 9:08. Thanks for everybody who popped in and out. Thanks for watching, anybody who views this after the fact. Thanks everybody for coming, chatting, hanging out, listening to my crazy stories, because, I mean, other than Mark and Chris and Brandon, I think none of you have seen me just talk non-stop. And I mean, some of my older videos are like half an hour of me just talking. That's just me. That's just me. I can talk all night. Love that. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for coming. Thanks for everybody's support. And thanks for making me finish that plate of bacon. Mostly Mark. I think James clued in there too. This is my really handy dandy. Anytime, Laura. This is my nice professional phone stand, my camera stand. And it gets propped up there. So professional. Just the highest quality here. Highest quality. Alright, guys. That's it. Until next time, enjoy your bacon.